So the other day, during one of my live streams, I talked about what I put in my smoothies. So this is a smoothie that I do pretty much first meal of the day. And we're gonna make it extra special. This is gonna be a special tutorial, best smoothie you can make. Also, before we get into it, I know this video isn't directly gaming related, but I figured I'd try something different. But anyways, let's get right into it. And we're gonna start with boiling hot water. Now, I know what you're thinking, why the heck would we do boiling hot water? It's because we're actually gonna add an egg to this smoothie. But the trick is to add the boiling hot water first. You actually don't need very much. You need just like, I'm not even gonna measure it. It's like barely any, and then just add the egg in there like that. Now, if you really want to, you can actually add the eggshells, and it's apparently gonna give you a lot of calcium or something. But honestly, it never ends up that great for me, so today I'm gonna throw them away. Alright guys, we are back. Now you're probably wondering why I didn't just go ahead and make the rest of the smoothie. We need the egg to cook for a little bit, and usually I add, 2, maybe even 3 eggs some days, but today I'm just gonna add 1. But basically, as soon as you add the milk, it's gonna stop cooking. So you need to wait at least like 2, maybe 3 minutes. But anyways, now that we've waited, we're gonna add at least 2.5 cups of milk. And honestly, having a blender that shows you like exactly what's going on. So I'm just gonna get to like 2.5 right there and stop. So I usually do 2 to 3 cups of milk. So now we get to move on to the fun part, which is adding all the ingredients. So this huge bag of carrots that I have, and this is like half of them. I already ate half of them. This was only like $4, so I definitely recommend, getting some carrots. They're really easy because you don't have to cut them or anything. This top part is actually edible. I just wash it off, and then one thing I do, because they're so tall, I just like break it in a couple pieces, toss them in there. But before we go any further, we have to add a very special ingredient. Now we have to add some oats, and what I usually do is I add like 2.5 cups, so I feel like this thing holds about a cup worth of oats. Not exactly sure, but it's quite a lot of oats. So I do about 2 scoops of this. Before we go any farther, you don't have to use milk. You can use water, but it just won't taste as good. And then milk also has a lot of protein. I'm a vegetarian, so I try to get as much protein as I can throughout the day. Alright, now that we got a vegetable in there, it's time to add our fruit. Today we're going to do an apple, and I've already removed the seeds. As you can see, it's kind of already oxidizing. And the easiest way to do this is just take a knife and then like use the tip to dig out the seeds. For me, I found that's pretty much like the easiest way. So yeah, just add them in there. Now we get to move on to some fun ingredients. We have frozen peas. Now, these things are very cheap and they make the smoothie just awesome. If you've ever added frozen fruit to a smoothie, you already know that it makes it so much better. But, quick tip, if you want to have frozen fruit in your smoothie, it's a lot cheaper to just buy it, not frozen, and then put water on it and then put it in the freezer. It's a lot cheaper that way because the frozen fruit, I don't know why, it costs so much money. But frozen vegetables, they cost like nothing. Alright, and then this one I've really been liking lately, butternut squash. Frozen butternut squash. It makes it taste so sweet. Apparently squash is actually a fruit. I just learned that the other day. But yeah, this stuff, pretty awesome. You can use frozen sweet potatoes, frozen corn, anything like that. Make sure it's something you can eat raw though, because you're gonna go to the store and see like frozen edamame, and it's gonna say 10 grams of protein per serving. You're like, well, that's twice as much as peas, but you have to cook them. So I like having stuff that I can just, do real quick, and I don't have to spend any time on it. Alright, next thing we're gonna add is kind of weird, but you're not gonna taste it in the smoothie. It is garlic. Garlic is really good for you. It has like a lot of antioxidants, and apparently it can boost athletic performance. Now, I'm not a nutrition specialist, and that's just what I've read online, some studies and whatnot. So I'm just going with that. This has kind of been an experiment for like the last month and a half. I honestly don't know how much it has or has not helped me, but apparently garlic will reduce symptoms of like having a cold and stuff, so I feel like it's good to just add to a smoothie anyway. The next thing we're gonna add is ginger root. Now, we're not gonna add very much, but I just wanted to show you guys something. You have to leave it in like a drawer in the fridge because you can see how like dried up or whatever oxidized it gets. The trick is to like leave it in the fridge, so like you can see it's still a little bit yellow here, but yeah, just cut off like a little bit. Like this is all we're gonna do. It's really strong. And look, it's so much more yellow when you first cut it. All right, now we're moving on to pretty much the two most important ingredients. And I would say one of them is way more important than the other, but anyways, one of them is Greek yogurt. Now usually I get like a big thing of plain Greek yogurt, but I don't have that right now. We're just gonna add this key lime flavored Greek yogurt. And I mean, it has some sugar in it, but it still has the protein that I'm looking for. Alright, now moving on to what I think is probably the most important ingredient, and it is peanut butter. So this is actually natural Jif peanut butter. The label like fell off. But anyways, this stuff isn't too expensive, and honestly, it's been like my best friend for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. I just started using peanut butter, but what I like to do is, I don't know, 2 tablespoons? I don't know, I do like 2 decently sized scoops, and you can just knock it in there. That's probably good. The only thing that sucks about peanut butter is it's definitely hard to clean off. Alright, and then the final ingredient, which I don't always add, sometimes I just add it to my water, is baking soda. So weirdly enough, this stuff is supposed to boost athletic performance by 1 to 2%, and there's actually like studies kind of like backing that up. So I haven't really noticed anything, to be honest with you, but it's supposed to help like a little bit. And this stuff is just dirt cheap, so I figure why not try it. We're gonna add it to the smoothie today. It's not something you taste in a smoothie. In the water, you kind of taste it a little bit. It just tastes like salt. I mean, it doesn't taste bad. But anyways, let's blend this up and see how it ends up. Guys, that's gonna wrap up my smoothie tutorial. Now, it's not gonna smell amazing because of the garlic, but trust me, it tastes like ice cream. It tastes like straight up ice cream. If you have never tried a smoothie like this, you have to. It's like the best. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Also, if you're curious, I got this blender for like 60 bucks. I know that's kind of expensive, but if you look, you can find like refurbished ones. This one's refurbished. I've had it, I've used it pretty much every day for the last, I don't know, 5-6 months. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. So, you know, if you do want to make smoothies and stuff, I feel like it's a good investment because honestly, I spend barely any time eating an entire full meal and it's easy to clean up. Anyways, guys, I'll see you next one. Have a good one. Peace.